Hey everybody! Welcome to our special episode of Gone Rolling. Today I'm joined by only one member of the crew, Tommy. Because we saw Tommy disappear suddenly, and he's been up to some stuff while he's been gone. So it's about time we saw what exactly he was up to in that time he was away. To get right into it, to explain where you're at, Chuck. First, you were at the temple, in the ruined temple with your allies, standing before the opened altar that once held a relic. There you read some words, and it had some sort of reaction in you, or something occurred to you specifically. You heard your heart, you heard your adrenaline pumping. It was a drum within you that was erupting into a loud beat. But in that moment, your breath was taken from you, as it felt as if everything around you was gone and you were shoved through a infinitely small doorway. Now, you don't know what happened to everyone else, but in a moment of nothingness, it's like you're absent of all sensation, just for a split second. But it's so weird that it's noticeable. In this moment, as nothing is around you, as you feel nothing around you, I'm sure you can't but have the thought of, am I dead? Probably.
It's more of a concern of what's happening.
It's a fair point.
Yeah.
That's a fair point.
I'm familiar with that magic can do a lot of weird stuff, so I'm like, alright, something's happening.
Exactly. And that's a fair point. And as soon as you have that thought, as soon as it sparks into your mind, in that split second, you instantly feel your body, a sensation once more, as if a hand grabs your chest and tears you through some glass windows. You feel like fragments of something pass over your skin. It feels like you're being torn to pieces, as if you're being scratched all across your body against metal and stone shards. It's horrible, it's painful, but your body feels like it's extending. Your feet feel like they're a mile away. Your head feels like it's in the sky, but there is no sky. There is no feeling of gravity here. There's no up or down. But in this moment, as you feel yourself passing through something, as light begins to hit your eyes once more, you see colors of purple, blue, green hissing by, whizzing by, and you hear indeed sounds. It's like a hiss, like I said before, a horrible, like sort of soft scratching noise. In this moment, I would like you to roll a D100 for me, please.
Ooh. Is this anything similar to what Sewer had to roll, or not quite?
I wouldn't worry about that.
Alright. 84.
Okay. As you feel this sensation of not exactly pain, but it definitely feels uncomfortable. The slashing across your body, the extending, the stretching across yourself. You swear you hear strange sounds. You swear you see strange things. It's like images in your mind, not something you can perceive perfectly because your vision isn't exactly normal right now. Your body feels incomplete. And this is all happening within a second. And then something strange happens. Unlike the scratching sensation, unlike the feeling of like glass shards flying against your body, there's a new sort of sensation, almost like a hot sting for a second, just a noticeable hot sting. But then once again, you feel as if the force grabs you in the chest and tears you out, and you feel like you hit a surface. In that moment, it's like hitting a window of glass. You just like come right into it and hit against it. But as soon as you hit it, you hear like cracking noises, cracking of glass, and then you fall back into a space where sensation becomes normal once more. All happening within mere seconds. You have felt the sensation of a teleportation further than you've seen anyone really teleport before, maybe. Definitely further than you've ever experienced before. This form of teleportation, it has taken you, well, you don't know where. But around you, you do see familiar things. This could be on your home realm of Hythea. In fact, the stone on the walls seems to be cold, like mountainous, dark stone. There's ice growing against some of the walls. Clearly in a colder climate. You see on the roof in some areas there are icicles draping down. You see some small particles of dust floating in the air, perhaps from your arrival hitting the ground around you. You lay prone on a flat stone surface that's been smoothed out, but it seems like a cave floor, not exactly a built structure. You are in a large place, and there is light in this room as it comes from behind you, this bright white light. The cold air does bite against your skin, though, and the light is not bright enough to warm it. But this cold white light comes in through the back of this cave structure, comes in through the mouth to your back, and before you, as you sort of come to your senses and raise yourself up, you do see that you are in a, indeed, carved cavern. That's small, but you see a carving, a massive statue. It looks like it comes from the ground, from one massive stone right in front of you, maybe about 10 feet. You see this structure looks like some sort of amorphous, but also there are signs of it being humanoid, like as if the stone figure is like leaning into itself and its arms are crossed, but the stone drips down to the ground and molds into the floor itself, giving it this very much like melted or a cooled lava sort of look that matches the stone around it. But also in this moment, that hot sting, it's still there. And you have maybe but a second to look just behind you as you see this blue glow. Somewhere in your bag was an item that you weren't exactly too aware of how to protect it, to be fair, but Rosalie, your companion, told you to keep it safe. And it seems that this refined Fossick, its glass vial, has not survived the magical transportation, as this very sensitive and chaotic magical material is very, very bad when it's around magic, and it seems like this was violent just enough for it to crack. Now, as you hear this piece of glass just ting, ting, falls down, this blue ooze just seeps out of this vial really quickly, and you feel that substance on your body, and all of a sudden, as you're like instinctually, you say, "Ah, man," he's instinctually trying to grab it and toss it to the side of you. Some of this lightning, this energy that's around you that maybe was a part of the transportation, it still zaps across your body like static electricity, and just the slightest bit comes from your finger to the vial itself and to its exposed surface. So, can you please roll another D100? Sorry, this is a D20. Yeah. As you have accidentally been forced to sort of react to a magical disruption event.
11.
11.
This wasn't one you had as correct.
No, it was not. So yes, and Hythea has a bunch of strange magic. After the war 60 years ago, Fossick came into being and started appearing in the ground and veins and this strange liquid magic that could be extracted. Now, refined Fossick was, of course, you vaguely know it was made by the Metallurgic Collective. You vaguely know that. They've somehow figured out how to turn raw Fossick into it. It's much more powerful, but when exposed to certain magics, it is also much more dangerous. Or in this case, it has proven to be much more dangerous. As with that 11 on the major magical disruption chart, I'm sorry, you said 11?
11.
Oh,
As
wow.
in just before 12.
Just before 12.
Half of 22. Twice it was 5.5.
Okay.
Square root of 101.
Mm-hmm.
I can go on if you want.
No, it's okay, it's okay. In this moment, as as you feel, as you were trying to get it away from you, your instincts were to send it away. It just illuminates as this little bit of electricity passes between your fingertip and the vials that's flying out of your hand. And the vial's separating in the air as this bluish, sparkly, glitter-like liquid is just passing into this liquid form, into this amorphous glob into the air. But that little lightning bolt just fires between it. And it seems to be just enough as all of a sudden that bluish orb of liquid in the air. This is all in slow motion, by the way, like half a second. Like your vision's like just watching it. But right in front of you, this orb just does this sort of shifting, disgusting motion, shifts through colors, a spectrum of different shades, and all of a sudden adjusts itself to a strange purplish hue, and then flickers back to a green, a blue, and it explodes out into this violent, chaotic mist-like substance with more electricity firing between it. This mist becomes this deep, deep green color. Firing between it is this blue energy, and your body, your hand specifically, takes it and it stings your skin, but this cloud seems to adhere to your body like it's sticky, and the cloud follows you as you're just trying to get it off of you. In this moment, it just begins to adhere to your surfaces, to your body, to your face, get into your mouth and your lungs.
Let's do the right hand or left hand.
Your choice.
I'd say I probably still have my shield in my left hand, so I would have grabbed it with my right hand.
Okay, right hand it is then.
Not a good choice.
Yeah, all of a sudden, as this energy passes into you, you feel your skin burn, you feel your eyes water, you begin to cough. It's disgusting, this taste, this feeling. It's like, it's almost like in the back of your throat you can taste something, like some sort of horrible flavor, but it doesn't leave your mouth. Your eyes, they get blurry and fuzzy, but then it seems like the light shifts around you. You hear some sort of movement behind you, but as you try to turn, you hear this ring in your ear and your other ear. This sensation is horrible, this moment of just change. As whatever is happening to you is a sensation you never felt before, but it isn't natural, whatever it is. And as this last bit of the mist sort of adheres to your skin, you see your skin illuminates, or more specifically your veins. As you can just see on your frame, all of a sudden the mist, the color that was attaching to your skin like dust, fades away as if your skin absorbs it rapidly. Your veins pass over you in this wave, and you see this bright white energy just pass across your veins, illuminating your insides momentarily. And that, with that wave of illumination, once again, this intense pain that leads all the way to your heart, and for a moment you have to grab your chest as if you feel like your heart's about to explode. But it doesn't. As you don't take any damage right now, but you're holding your chest, sort of like crouched down maybe a little bit. But the pain begins to fade. Whatever's happened, you have apparently survived it. But before you, as your vision's coming from this blurry fog, it's reforming and clearing, you see a figure standing there. About as tall as you would think, a bit lankier, not as broad, but has some sort of fur covering on the shoulders that drapes down like a bit of a cloak partially down their body, has some sort of like white tunic cloth draped across, but you can see has like, it's like a wrapped sort of tunic with a belt across it, a leather belt, but has like this open chest exposed.
Like a toga?
Kind of like a toga, yeah. Kind of like a toga, but it's pretty short. And you see this figure has these big fur-covered boots. You know, this sort of like strange mix between barbarian gear and almost like a martial arts gi in a way. Less of a toga, more of like a martial arts gi, but like there's almost no pants to speak of. It just drapes down into a tunic sort of like skirt.
Like an apple bottom tunic, boots with the fur.
Yes, I suppose. You can see gauntlets in this person. You can see hairy arms. You can see hair across the face and the cheeks. This lighter grayish blue skin. This sort of brightish red, deep red, faded red nose. And just this very dark brown hair that comes down to their sides, and they have like one or two little like braids just on the right side of their face. They look down to you with this scowl, and this figure has this rugged sort of beard. It's not well kept, it's just out, you know, it's just like fraying out in all directions. But as you look up to this figure, they say to you, Nohshar, which I would say in Giant you do vaguely understand as you were learning the language.
Yes.
It is either rise or stand, something like that.
Right.
As you pull yourself up, the initial pain caused your body to go into shock. And you're a bit sore, maybe from that strange teleportation, maybe from what just happened to you. But it is slowly fading as you feel some sort of presence in you. And that's the only sensation of the only feeling that still remains of before, besides the soreness. It's like a little cold spot somewhere in your chest. You stand up and you do see you're still a bit taller than this figure, by a few inches, but not by a foot. But he looks you up and down. You see his dark eyes, and you can even see now, kind of funny. His hair parts at the side, but you can see his eyebrows. They're like really bushy, big eyebrows. But he looks at you once again, up and down. You have survived whatever the hells that was. Consider yourself lucky, I suppose. Though I am afraid to say, you do not seem perfectly healthy.
I've been busy. Do you know...
There's like some bone shards still stuck in your body from the giant skeletal hand squeezing you.
Were you the one who brought me here?
No. But I do have reason to be here with you. I was not the one. He was the one. And he gestures to the right above you, where you do see that sort of statued figure. You can see it more clearly now. It looks like an altar or some sort of like religious statue. Because you can see like offering jars, old dusty containers set at the base of this carved statue. But interesting enough, you see cracks that weren't there before. And you begin to see that at the base of some of at the base of the statue in some areas, some cracks are beginning to form. As the stone begins to crack, and you see one of these arms that were crossed shifts out, and the stone fractures off, and stone chunks fall to the side. Another arm pulls back, and this head that's like hung down low begins to, as this figure begins to sit upright. This form, though, is quite large, and even in this cavern that reaches probably 15 feet high, it seems like they're still having to sit down, as you begin to realize that they are sitting like with their legs crossed. You couldn't really see them because the stone had formed over them, but a dust cloud sort of like begins to pour out from this broken, dried stone. Some ice begins to fall from the roof from the icicles. And the figure there, even though the icicles are falling from the roof, even though the cave is shaking and some stones are beginning to fall down, this figure just looks at you, back to this other one, doesn't hesitate, doesn't fear getting crushed by any stones falling from the cave. But what are you doing as this looming large figure is beginning to rise from this stone?
I'm just mainly just looking, but I'll also be checking to see like if I gained any like injuries or any like weird ticks that I'm basically just running a self-diagnostic, to put it in a technical term, of either from what happened in teleportation or the Fossick related stuff.
Of course. Please roll a medicine check for me.
19 plus 1.
That's nice. Okay.
That's nice.
As you look over yourself, you don't seem like you've taken any new wounds. Just the same wounds from the fight previously with the mysterious bony hand, the giant skeletal hand. No, you seem perfectly healthy. At least damaged, but healthy. And as you're looking yourself over, this man standing next to you looks back towards you, and he knocks you on the shoulder. Just sort of like, almost like a sort of like punishing knock. Like, you should be paying attention, you know. In fact, yeah, it like straight up socks you in the arm, and with this strength does like 4 damage to you, 4 bludgeoning damage, just, and your muscles like tighten up on the side, and yeah, he full on like, what's it called, like a Charlie horse, or he like,
Just on the leg, but yeah.
oh yeah, but you know, he hits you pretty good in the arm, and like, he just looks towards you and looks back to this figure. You are in Graal Nil's Rest, and you are a guest of Graal Nil. You will show respect. But as he's saying that, the figure finally breaks from the stone. And you now see, as the dust begins to clear a bit more, this large figure sitting down with their legs crossed. Their torso at least reaches 15 feet high, with their head sort of leaning further back. It's another 5, no, probably like 3 feet, you know. But you see this figure has 2 arms that are sort of just out on their knees, but they don't have hands. You see that they are like wounded down to the wrist, no hands to speak of, just some sort of broken skin. Their skin almost looks like stone, like it's been cracked. And it's very dry. And you see just where the hand would be, this sort of darkened, almost volcanic / dried lava mass on the stump. On both of them. But you see the face of this figure, and there isn't a visible face, as it's covered with all these wrappings, these paper wrappings or like gauze wrapped around their face. And you see they have a hood naturally over their head. They don't have like a shirt, it's just like a hood that's attached to some sort of metal necklace, sort of like clasp. And this metal necklace dangles down. It's made out of this rough, rugged iron, and this hood is a deep gray, almost black color, but these gauze wrapped around the face cover the face entirely. What you see all along these gauze in this giant rune writing written in this deep red ink, or just like wrapped across his face. But this figure looks and leans towards you, and you can see now some of these gauze hang from this hood with these runes written in deep, deep red colors, and looks down to both of you. No eyes visible. And you can see the figure does seem giant in a way. I mean, they're literally a giant humanoid, but the descriptions you've seen of giants, the broad figure, the more like built for battle, created by the gods long ago, giants are living embodiments of forces of nature, as the same as dragons kind of fulfill that role. This figure has that sort of presence, almost like a frightful presence, like a dragon has, you know. You can see on the arms, these are very lanky arms, not like hulking, bulky, but they are like cut, like muscle stone arms, and there are like metal bands on the shoulder, on the elbows. And this figure standing next to you looks back towards you. Have you heard of Grolnil before? I would say in this moment, based on your own studies and your own teachings that you learned before while you were training, you can make a history roll for me.
It's 18, 19 on this one.
You do recognize the name of Grolnil. Grolnil, or pronounced in other ones like Grolniel or Grolal. It's like a giant word that has changed over time. It is an ancient giant word. The language is actually called Jotun in its older forms. So thinking about it, yes, you do recognize this name. Grolnil is a servant, an arbiter of Jorkida. In fact, Grolnil is supposed to be the servant on Hythea of Jorkida, the mother of giants, as in her like chief angel, what is called an archangel on Hythea. Though with that role, you are aware that Jorkida's faith has basically died, has dwindled, not fully gone out, but dwindled far, far past its prime. And on Hythea, there are only a few worshippers here and there of this ancient faith. But this figure maybe is indeed Grolnil. The only other name you would know this figure by is the Five-Fisted Saint. And about that time when you're thinking about this, you see at the waist of this figure, as they get more situated, you see that they wear like a black, or like that same sort of deep gray color, almost like a bit of like a front open skirt. It only goes about halfway down the thigh, but it's like this black fabric material that lays along the waist, and you can see the legs of this figure wrapped in the same sort of gauze of the face. But around the waistband are these gauntlets, 5 metal gauntlets that sort of just hang there and sit. These closed fists, all made of different strange metals. Some look like they're made of gold, some look like they're made of silver, but there's 5 of them. They have different patterns on them, different colored stones placed into them. But yeah, pretty sure you would recognize this figure to be what you've heard of.
I'm vaguely familiar. Five-Fisted Saint, servant of the Mother of Giants.
Yes, indeed.
Didn't recognize him at first.
He has
So
been.
kind of but
That is. I can understand why that would be.
Also, I only just got here. I have no idea where I am. So.
I was only just summoned here, so I don't know why you're here either. But as you guys are sort of talking, conversing back to each other, this figure in front of you speaks up. And the voice is low, very low, but heavy, loud, booms like rolling thunder in the distance. This it rolls out, and you see the jaw of this gauze-wrapped figure. It moves, but you do not see a mouth, of course. But your chest almost vibrates with the hum of this voice. And the words come towards your mind like common, but you hear them as giant. The figure welcomes you. Says, you are here as you are meant to be. And you see the man sitting next to you gives a soft bow to this figure. And as you're there, the head of this celestial tilts to the side, this legendary figure, looks upon you. There's a curiosity you can just feel. You see this stubbed hand goes for one of these, or the stubbed wrist goes for one of these gauntlets, and you see along the waist, they're all facing down. The fists are facing down, so the end of this wrist goes into one of these gauntlets, and you see this strange heat begin to produce as embers pass between the gauntlet and the wrist, and you hear slow chanting. And you see these red runes begin to pass along the wrist of this creature, and you have this smell of burning stone hit your nose, of melting rock. You realize this figure is melding this gauntlet to their own wrist. And about 6 seconds pass and they're done, as all of a sudden they finish talking and all the runes pass away into nothingness. Ash just sort of passes up the wrist, sort of coating the arm in this dark sooty color, and this hand raises up this gauntlet. Is now functional. It is of a deep copper color. It's a dark copper. The stones on it seem gold and sort of like a yellow and amber and gold color. This figure speaks once more. You hearing, "Do not move, guest." As this figure brings the gauntlet into hand towards you, this arm length grate reaches. I mean, honestly, his arm is like probably a little unnaturally long compared to his body proportions. So it's reaching all the way over to you.
Long by giant standards.
And long by giant standards. And this finger stretches out and prods to your chest, and you feel this heat just pass into you, like you enter this shock. And the hand passes back. The figure speaks once more. "You have gone through a mutation. Here and now." The head tilts to the side. You see where this head is facing is at this little shattered glass vial on the ground. "The interloper and its blessings have entered your system."
The what?
The figure does not answer you, simply sits back, this one hand resting on the knee. The man standing next to you speaks. Now there's a pause, looks towards you. "The interloper, the machine deity, its gift is, its bane, really, has affected you in some way. It seems now that our master is questioning your usability." As this giant figure thinks for a moment, looks back down towards you, you can hear as this figure leans, the stones crack once more. "You may question me now."
Alright. You were the one who brought me here, correct?
"Yes," the voice echoes out.
Were you aware I had that on me at the time, or did you find out basically at the same time that I remembered?
"Regrettably, no."
Alright. Why did you bring me here?
His head turns towards the other figure standing next to you. That figure looks puzzled for a second, but then his eyes pass down. He tilts his head to the side. "Oh, I see now. I was told when I first came here that there would be a time when someone would come that needed teaching. It seems now is that time." The larger figure speaks up once more. Grolneel's voice echoes not just in the cave anymore, but now booms in your mind itself. You possess danger lurking deep within your blood, deep within your soul. That gauntleted hand points towards you once more. Body not matching mind. Your might is caught between. The hand rests. You are in conflict, whether you see it or not. The troubles you face will kill you, or all else. Figure leans back once more. Grolneel rests there, looking back at the man sitting next to you. The man turns towards you. I believe what our master is saying is you have been granted an opportunity to survive. Consider yourself lucky. Most do not deserve a chance at this, but perhaps you have been making wakes. I suppose you seem strong enough. You are... I don't care what they call you, actually. It seems you have a power in you that will cause you trouble, a strength that does not agree with your form as it is now. Is that assumption correct?
I'm not entirely sure. I've had more restraint than I used to when I was younger with my strength. That could be what he was referring to, between body and mind.
The emissaries talk in mysterious ways. Their interpretations of what is and what could be isn't always clear. He sort of walks around you. But I think I understand now. His hand passes like this over you, and he places it on your back, just like in the small of your back. And you feel this, like, chill pass into you, like some sort of energy. I understand. I feel it. The conflict. The disagreement. The disgusting imbalance. And he, like, whacks you on the shoulder, like right here, and you feel your arm like sort of tense up. Yeah, he definitely deals 6 damage to you. You have grown weak, your body atrophies, your mind collapses. Soon you will be a mess of a man, more like a beast. Your strength comes from some heritage or some teaching. It does not matter. Your blood and your muscles have been taught to hate. They should be taught to improve, to grow, to adapt. Anger and fury was your power, as you once thought. But it is not what it should be. He passes in front of you. I am Teacher Norluth. You will call me Teacher Norluth or Teacher. Nothing else is acceptable. I will call you nothing. Because as you are now, you are nothing.
I have a question, teacher.
Yes.
When you say you'll call me nothing, is that saying you will not refer to me in general, or will you use the word nothing to refer to me?
He punches you in the nose.
Alright.
As I mean, like, I know your AC is pretty high, but, I mean, this guy's modifier probably gets through. That's like a 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
19, if you're ever curious.
Yeah, he clocks you in the nose, but he actually, like stops his fist before it actually hits you in the face, and his hand just outstretches and he grabs you, and he pulls you to the ground, dropping you prone, I'm pretty sure. I mean, yeah, no matter what you roll, that nat 20 is going to get you prone.
Can I try?
You can try, yeah, go ahead. You
How much effort has to
you
be
roll
made?
athletics for me, please. Or acrobatics, it's up to you.
That's an 18. No, that's a dirty 20.
He's a dirty 20? Yeah, he like grabs your face and drops you prone. Your question has been asked, but the weak do not deserve to be answered. You will gain the right for answers as you strive. And he places his boot on your back. Now I ask a question. Why do you think you are strong?
In what I've achieved before, I've accomplished things only the strong can accomplish. Much of that strength has left me. And I'm concerned to know what might happen if it returns, and what might return with it.
As you should be. He looks back towards Grolnil, and Grolnil tilts his head. He's not perturbed by this, sort of beating this guy was giving you, or hitting you, but he speaks once more. The mountain is only as strong as the stone it is made from. The other mountains group together to form a great ridge. Your stone cracks and dries, making it brittle. If you collapse, the others around you will fall as well. Your teacher looks down to you, Teacher Narloof. Does it make sense, nothing?
Yes, kind of.
Your assumptions are correct. He takes his boot off of your back. As you are now, your strength comes from a history that is not in agreement with your soul. Your strength not matching your heart, your soul, your mind, whatever you want to call it, means that you will grow into something horrendous. A beast without control. And control missing in you is a disaster for all those around you. It is the duty of someone of your might to control themselves. There is a beast, and I see it. But it could be a man. And he sort of waits for you to stand up. This training is abrupt, and I do not like my schedule being ruined, but I serve at the whim of my master, as you will as well. It seems that your power has been sensed and brought here by this lone servant. He looks to Grolnil. You should feel honored to be treated and chosen. The faith has been fading, but every mountain, every great monument, every great force in this world will eventually fall to make room for the next. I believe we should begin now. If your strength grows faster than your control, it will be disaster for all.
I do have one question. Of the people I was traveling with, did anything happen to them during the teleportation, or were they left alone?
He looks to the side. This time he throws a punch towards your gut, but he stops in a moment. You feel like he was holding back in that moment. And he stares at you, trying to gauge a reaction, trying to look into you. For a moment he sort of stops, tilts his head,
Yes, I see the genuine concern. I see that you have indeed some sort of honor and loyalty in you.
He pulls his hand back.
That is admirable. I do not know of your associates, but I am sure, as the Mother of Mountains says, the big...
He tilts his head to the side. He seems like he's just realized something. But he shakes it off.
It is not your place to worry about them. They are fine, I am sure.
He adjusts himself and looks to the back of the entrance to the cave. And you see in this space where you are, there are stairs going up. You also come to realize, looking around, that the emissary there, Grolneel, he seems like he's sitting, of course, but he seems like he's also adhered to the ground a bit. Like maybe his legs have just grown into stone. Or like at the very base of where they touch the ground, the stone hasn't broken off. Something like that. But the figure looms over you, and as Narluf turns back and begins to head for the entrance, it speaks up once more.
Follow the teachings of Narluf. It is your only chance to survive.
You see that hesitation, and you hear that in the voice, this weakened sound. It's strange to hear a weak crack of thunder. That's what it sounds like. But this being simply leans back and rests into himself.
After he says that, before I start following, I'm just going to say, survival is not exactly my main concern. I have more pressing things to worry about, usually. No, just turn around and start following him.
As you begin to turn around, nothing! Come! And a little pebble is thrown at your head.
Okay. So I'll second wind as I start going.
Okay.
Nice.
As soon as you step out of this cave, you see an expanse like no other. White on gray, a sky of fluffy clouds and blue on the horizon, a fog that forms in the distance. You are in the peaks of the mountains. There are clouds rolling past you. You look low over the edge of this space and you see a great valley, a glacial valley nearby. The snow is thick here, the ice is centuries old, and your breath is so light. You begin to realize just how high you are now. Narluf turns back towards you. He looks towards you to see if you're maybe having trouble breathing. Would you like to try to not show the immediate wave of like atrophy or like exhaustion that comes from trying to breathe at this high altitude?
Sure. I do want to ask, is this similar at all to the area I grew up in terms of altitude, or is that...
This might be higher, definitely.
Okay.
But somewhat in the weather department, probably.
Okay. Is this like a con save then?
Yes.
I'm not going to ask for it to be a performance check, but I imagine that could also...
It could maybe apply, but like, are you a better performer, or are you gonna...
No, we'll just like tough it out.
Okay.
That's 14.
14. Your breath like kind of comes out and blows into the air, but like you try to steady yourself. Narluf looks towards you, takes a deep breath, and turns back. expects you to probably follow him. You see that immediately in this cave entrance, it faces this sort of drop off this cliff. There's a bit of a circular space that's like 20 feet in diameter, and there's a staircase that Narloof is walking down that comes along the side of the mountain. And the peak goes beyond further into the clouds, but yeah, he just continues walking.
I'll follow, being careful if there's any icy patches, because I don't have a very good tech save.
That's fair. As you're being careful, as you're taking in the area, yeah, you do realize you are high up. You are in the snow-covered peaks, and you hope they're the mountains close to your allies. But the place you see around you, it's hard to tell. The clouds are thick nearby. You can only see maybe the next mountain over. It's difficult to tell. But as you look around, it's very peaceful. It's nice. If not, also scary that you could fall thousands of feet immediately. But as you walk behind, Narloof speaks up.
Nothing. You are here, of course, to train yourself, to prepare yourself to master your strength before it whelms you like a tide and drowns you in madness. But tell me, do you fear the strength that will come?
I fear what might result from it if I can't control it, or if I change.
That is good. The Jotun, as you may know, never spoke in the ancient times, for their voices could crack the world and conjure lightning and thunder to sunder the ground. So they spoke with their hands and written words, a mercy for the little people of the world. You will channel that mercy in life like a respectable behemoth.
He leads you further down these stairs, and eventually you come towards another space, a little tent, a little stone house, a campfire, sorts, a stone chimney, something carved into the wall of this mountainside, some boulders lined up, a little bit of an overhang where icicles hang, sort of covering that stone house and the tent, so that any avalanches will just go right over them. You see another staircase going from the opposite direction of where this space is, but that staircase goes back up. There doesn't seem to be a staircase going down from this spot. But as you come down to this space, Narloof stops and waits for you to arrive. And this ground here is muddy. It's kind of icy and sloshy and frosty, you know. But it's stable somewhat, you know. The cave seems to go a bit deeper.
You are in Gralnil's Rest, one of the last living sanctums of the Jotun faith. There are not many worshippers of the old ways anymore. Not many who remember the tales of the great walking Jotun. But you honor their ways. I see it in you. I felt it in you. Otherwise you would not have been chosen by the emissary himself. The Mother of Mountains looks upon you with glee. You have such great potential, but you will need every bit of work, because you are nothing but,
He kicks the ground, mud and water.
slush, feeble and weak, squeezing between the cracks. Once you are in your final form, there will be nothing that can crush you. Diamonds will be jealous of your strength. Now, we begin and we do not stop. Do you understand? The
Yes.
Mother of Mountains will decide when we are done. First,
Takes a wide stance.
Hit me as hard as you can. We need the baseline to work from.
So he stands there. He opens himself wide. You can see he tenses up, and this guy is like, he's a furball. You've come to realize. He has a lot of body hair. He has layers on him. He's not exactly ripped, but like his muscles, like in that moment, flex so hard that like it's like chiseled. But yeah, he's gonna let you hit him as strong as you can. And you can.
I do put my shield away because that's a different dice size.
Yeah, no, yeah. You can take as many hits as you want, maybe. Who knows? But it's your chance to swing. What would you like to do?
Hmm. So, there's actually something like a game mechanic I was curious about.
Yes.
I know there's, like, when you get extra attack, you generally define that as making 2 attacks, but could you also define it as, like, you hit them and, like, based on how many attacks hit, like, it only looks like 1 attack, but based on how many attacks you roll that actually hit, they do more damage. It's just, like, 1 attack that does that much damage versus...
It would be more of a flavor than calling it a one attack.
Okay. Could I action surge and just put twice as much force into 1 attack?
No.
If he's just standing still, though, like...
I mean, he's letting you hit him, so I'm just saying, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I'll... It's kind of still a favor, but we're exploring it through. Since my shield's away, I'll just sort of, like, roll back almost to, like, a limbo stance with both arms.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll count... I consider this as a separate attack with each arm, so we'll action surge this. And then I'll just try to slam down, basically... Slam down, like, directly onto his shoulders, I guess, and just try to force him into the ground and attack like that.
Gotcha.
So I guess this would be 2 separate attacks, but in 1 motion.
Sure, yeah.
Alright.
He's practically not moving, so he's letting you hit him, so it could be an auto crit. No, it would be like an auto hit, but just roll for the crit. Yeah.
Okay. That was a 3 and an 18.
A 3 and an 18.
So,
So, the 18 definitely hits.
Right.
So roll again.
sorry?
So you basically have advantage on
Oh,
this.
advantage,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, sorry. Yeah.
And that is a 14 and a 6.
14 and 6. They'll both hit, but you don't get a crit. But
Okay.
yeah, go ahead and roll that damage for me.
So this will be 2d8 plus 8. That's max damage, 24 damage.
24 damage.
That would knock me out right now.
So, yeah, like you say, you move up towards him, you reach up, you bring your arms up in this quick motion, and then come down. You can literally hear the echo of your fists hitting his shoulders. Like, he has fur on his shoulders from, like, this cloak he's wearing. But you hit it so hard that the air has no time to escape. So it's like a percussive, like, crack as echoes out. Yeah, he remains standing, but he just like he's looking at you as
One
you
of my goals
come
is to
down.
press him into the ground.
Mhm.
It's like breaking his stance. This guy's really strong. Didn't think that would happen, but like if I can just break the earth under him, just force him down.
I will say, it maybe feels like you like force him a little bit into the ground, maybe like as if at his boots the mud just sort of like he stiffens up a bit. He looks towards you.
Turns out you are not mud, but like stone.
He goes ahead and as he says that, he throws a punch into your gut. I need you to make a dex save for me, or I think this is a dex save. We'll say it's a dex save. It's not loading right now. We'll finagle it right now.
Alright. It's a 9. If it's a con save, it's a 14. I don't think either of those pass.
No, he punches you so hard in the stomach, more like the sternum area actually. The air escapes your lungs as you take yeah, you only take like 11 bludgeoning damage here, but you do fly back 15 feet. Like as you immediately slide across the mud, get pushed back. You see you're sliding towards the edge. I need you to make an acrobatics check for me as you're about to. You could fall right over the edge of the mountain right now.
Acrobatics?
Yeah, you're like sliding towards the edge of this cliff space. So yeah. This is like to fall forward instead of falling backwards.
Okay.
Because technically you'd be knocked prone.
Yeah, this wouldn't be athletics at all then, huh?
No.
Alright. That's a 7.
Okay, so as soon as you're gonna slip back, you look like all your weight's leaning back, and you realize you're right at the cliff's edge. You look down, you see the drop, the fog, the cloud, the wind blows by, touches your butt a little bit, and you're like, oh. And all of a sudden, as you begin to fall back, you think in this moment, it's over. But the air around you, something happens. Like the air just sort of shifts, and you realize Narluf is like right in front of you, and his hand grabs like your collar of your armor, and just holds you right there. You did not die. We now know.
I was about to.
Yes. Would you like to continue?
One step that way, maybe. But yeah.
Good choice of words.
And he tosses you back to the side. He's not incredibly strong, so like your weight definitely is on your side, you know. But
All
he does-
500 pounds.
Yeah, all 500 pounds, but he definitely has the momentum where he like leans into it and you sort of like roll back to that spot. And you get up back on your legs, he doesn't knock you prone right there. And we'll say like you like basically spar with him for a second. He wants to test your strength, and you're just tossing fist after fist after fist after fist, seeing what you can do. And he a few times he like sort of grabs your hand and he's like, no, it's harder. And he like asks you to hit him in his hand, and you feel as you hit his hand, he has like a leather strap like in the middle where his like fur gauntlet is like attached to. But like he has just incredibly calloused hands. Like it hurts like you're hitting like stone, you know, on his hands, and he
More so than mine grabbing the blacksmith metal.
exactly. And you hit, and an hour passes. You're starting to get tired, like really tired. And you're breathing again, making a con save at this altitude as you're feeling it. You're feeling this. You've never had to exert yourself as much as this right now. Well, I guess earlier in the fight with the skeleton, earlier in the day, but like right now, like doing the same thing. This is basically practicing.
Yeah, I also don't have like relentless endurance or any of those abilities anymore because those are used up, so that's another factor.
That's
This
true.
is- I'm fighting post relentless.
That's true.
I do want to ask before I roll this. My armor's getting like fucked up, isn't it?
It's getting a little
It's definitely-
dented, yeah. Torn up.
Alright, con save, you said?
Yep.
That's a 6. It's an 8. 8 actually.
Okay. You do like have to at one point drop to your knees and catch your breath. And he looks at his hand, looking down at you, and he turns his hand towards you. Maybe a little bit of pride comes across your face. Maybe a little smirk. Maybe something. With the amount of force you've been putting into him, he's been holding his ground really well. You know, maybe he has some way to like sort of repair himself. And some of these hits he just allowed to hit, but they didn't really actually hurt him. But you do see on his hand there is some like redness. There's a bit of broken skin, maybe a little bit of blood. A sign that you did something.
Nothing clearly has something.
Yeah.
You have 1 hour.
He turns around and he walks into this little stone house. It's like a one-room house, but it has a wooden door, and he closes it behind him.
Alright.
You can take a short rest.
Cool. I will also light a torch for a little bit of warmth for
Yes.
this hour.
Mm.
And yeah, I'm just gonna short rest, which means I get action surge back and a second wind.
Nice.
Short rest. Okay. Ooh, that's not good. I already used both hit die. So I was at 1 hit point after the last fight.
Oh no! Okay.
Fine, I'm still at 12 right now, though, so that should be okay.
Oh, that's fair. Okay. But the hour passes.
I was just saying use second wind now because it makes no difference either way.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Scots. Nice. 10.
You are taking a breath. You're taking a moment, and you do feel like you regain some of your strength. You know. In this moment, before you even realize it, an hour does pass, and the door opens up.
I'd say the torch is probably my clock in terms of.
Yeah, basically, it's burned down to its innards. And as soon as it goes out, the door opens up. Norluf walks out. He walks out with 2 cups in his hand. They seem to be like some sort of steaming substance. And he has one in like his 2 fingers right here, and another one balancing on his other 2 fingers, and he lowers it down towards you. Do you take the cup?
I'll reach out, just slowly enough that. Yeah.
He allows you to take it.
Okay.
He raises his cup. He jinks it back. He just puts it in his mouth. And these little these cups would be like a normal cup for most people, but you guys are like huge, so like they're relatively small for you. It is the most acrid shit you've ever tasted. It's just like, oh, whoa, what the hells, man. Do make a con save for me, please.
Right.
As it instantly like burns your insides as well.
23.
23. It burns your insides and something like, almost like makes you feel horribly sick. But you hold yourself together. You pull yourself back and take a breath. Your insides feel warm. That's nice. But whatever that is, you're glad it's gone.
I feel warm, like being lit on fire.
It is the only mercy you have been offered so far. Take that warmth and put it to use.
He walks over to the edge of the cliff, looking up, down, like at the overhang and everything. Looks at the wind.
You, nothing. What do you know of the mountains and their secrets?
Probably less than 1% of what is to be known.
Yes, less than 1%. The mother made these mountains long ago, before all puny feet touched the ground, before the idea of you was even a thing. For Narluth was Narluth. These mountains are a remembrance, a reliquary, a tomb.
Turns back towards you.
I have determined you will speak to the elders. If you do not die, Andres,
This is gonna take about 10 minutes, just so you know.
you have time.
Alright.
Just leave yourself decent enough.
So don't become naked.
So just like, no,
You see he drops down to literally what is like a wrapping, like his wrappings, which are his underwear.
hot spring attire, got it.
Yes. He's a fur ball and a thong. He's so hairy. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Usually the armor covers it, but yeah, Chuck's pretty fat. Like, he's
Yeah.
strong, but
He also has scarring, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say what, because the
Yeah.
other players aren't here to see
That's
it.
fair.
But
But he has some marks on it,
He's
right?
got some pretty cool scarring, I'd say, but
Yeah, I'd say so too.
you guys don't get to know yet either, so you'll see when the others do.
But yes, as you undress, as you take your time, Narloof looks across the mountain, gives himself a little bit of a stretch. You hear he turns his body and you hear this cracking noise, and he stretches again. You know, and you can see he has tattoos along his body from his wrists right here that were under his gauntlets. You see these lines of runes. You see they go down his back. 2 lines from both arms go down the center of his back, and they meet to the very base, the very small of his back. And there they curl into a circle until they go infinitely smaller, disappear. And he turns back towards you.
Are you ready for your trials?
I hope so. It has occurred to me that I've seen watching what you just did that made me realize I don't think I've stretched in 3 years.
You have 5 minutes. And
No, I
he'll-
don't think I need to. I'm good to go. Just an observation I noticed.
Pride may be good, but it may cost you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will lead you to the other set of stairs from before that don't go down like the other stairs you came down, but they go up on the opposite side of this entrance. And as he walks by, you see this little shrine sitting next to this space. You see it's some stacked stones with a very large stone flat on its top. And you see these statues balancing on top. You see 3 statues just perfectly balanced on this flat stone that's just precariously right there. Every time the wind blows by, it goes shifts slightly, but then it balances it out. He walks over towards it, and he simply bites his thumb, and a bit of blood passes into it, and he rubs it on the head of these 3 little statues. And these are very poorly carved statues, but they do give this humanoid crouched appearance. They have symbols on them, these markings and giant. They're very worn. I would say they're very hard to read, but do you do the same thing he does? Or do you just
I'll
watch?
ask, should I as well?
Do you think you are worthy yet?
I don't know what that is.
Then I don't think you know.
Yeah.
Okay. You do so, and you mark the 3. Your blood passes and mixes with Narluth's, and it dries and quickly begins to freeze as the heat passes from it. And you feel the chill, by the way, of this wind, but it doesn't feel as bad as before. Something about it.
That battery acid I drank is really.
It's really doing great. I mean, you got a lot more layers than Narluth too, so but he's got fur.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. To each their own. But yeah, in this moment, you do so, and the rocks shake for a second, and then they balance out. He looks back towards you. Follow. And he leads you up these stairs. They only go for a little bit along the other side of the mountain, but you see you are in a space now in the mountains where there's a sky above you, like a crack, where the peak, the mountain you're on basically pierces the clouds above you. There's cloud cover all around you, and it makes a haze in the distance, so you can only see so far. But somewhere up there's a crack in the clouds that has produced light that sort of beams down the edge of this mountain, illuminating this side of it. It's kind of warm to be in the sunlight right now, but every time the wind blows by, it sort of bites at you. But you see the stairs end, and the rest of this platform right here. And you see stone, just like cracked and weaved, broken stone that goes all the way alongside this mountain. And you realize what you're about to do. You're about to climb this mountain. Okay. This is how it's going to work. As Narluth turns towards you, he says, "Do as I do. You make a mistake, your strength fails you, then you cease. So don't let your strength fail you. Understand?
Yep.
In the end, all you have is your strength, wherever you get it from."
I'll say it. I am 100 pounds lighter right now.
That's true, actually.
Or 140 pounds lighter than normal.
Losing that armor had helped. And he begins to climb. I assume you follow?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try to stay as close to spot for spot where he grabs and steps.
Yep. You have 2 options in this case. You can make investigation rolls to try to figure out the best foothold, or you can just make strength checks for me. I know one's better for you, but one does follow exactly what he does, and one is sort of you finding your best fit.
In terms of can you describe what the cliff just looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. You can see there's cracked lines coming down the cliff as if so there's been cracks that have formed alongside the mountain, and there's boulders that have sort of precariously sat on some ledges further up, and there's snow and ice. But the light that comes from the sun, it might hit this mountain on this side pretty often, or through the clouds, because there's not too much ice and snow on this side of the mountain. But you see there's like footholds in some areas. It seems like natural footholds, but Norluf sort of like wedges his feet in some places, puts his hands and sort of does this like reverse like grip, you know.
Yeah, rock climbing.
Yeah, exactly, like rock climbing, and it looks like it's been climbed before.
Okay. I'm just gonna follow the path that he does.
Okay.
Because I feel like he knows this area, and if I try to look for a path, there might be a hold that looks really good, but it just completely falls out when I grab it.
Yeah.
Especially for someone who weighs 400 pounds. So
And that's fair point.
he, like, if they look stable enough for him, they're probably stable enough to hold me, even if they're like a little
Mhm.
small, like hand or foot.
I mean, this 6'8" orc that weighs 400, 6'10", 400-pound orc. Yeah, if you miss your foothold or your hand grab, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah. I'll say like the only issue might be like if his foot like fits into a spot better, I might have to brute force more with my hands or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd rather do that than just not.
No,
I don't
absolutely.
trust my investigation.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, yeah, go. But I do still need you to roll investigation for this to at least follow his like
Oh, to
exact.
follow him?
Yeah, his exact movements.
Could it be perception?
Yeah, you can finagle it with that. Sure.
Just trying to observe
Yeah.
where he goes, not look for a new path.
It may not be perfect all the time, but you may find that you follow him more or less.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll.
First.
Yep.
That's all right. That's an 18 plus 1, 19.
Okay. Going up the mountainside, it's harsh. It's difficult. As he leads you, sometimes he looks back down at you, but he doesn't offer a hand. He just keeps on climbing up and up and up. And the air gets so hard and heavy. Do you ever look down?
I don't look down to see how far I am, but I might look down to see like if I can't find the foothold with my foot, I might like look down at the wall, but I never like look back.
Okay. 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 But you continue on, you follow him. Can you make another roll for me, please? As you guys continue going up, huh?
What kind of roll?
The same one as before.
So perception?
Yeah, since you're using perception in this case.
Okay.
I mean, you're still doing it the same way you were doing it before, right? You're still following his like.
Yeah, I'm still trying to follow him. I thought the options were like investigation to find a path or athletics.
So it was more like to investigate exactly where he puts his body.
Oh.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'll lose that one. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that is a not too bad 14.
14. Okay. As you're holding yourself there, you're climbing up this mountain. Your breath is becoming harder. You realize you've been actually climbing for a while now, and you're like, oh gosh, I'm gonna need to stop sooner or later. You can feel your body getting hard, broken. You know, you can feel your muscles tensing. You're getting stiffer. You're starting to realize you haven't rested in a bit, and you're like, oh gosh, I'm starting to get exhausted. But something about what you drank, it's also making this experience wildly different. It's cold still, right? But you don't feel the chill as harsh anymore. But you also realize at certain points, you sort of like look around, you're like, wait, how high are we? How long have I been doing this? What? Like you lose time in some areas and you realize like you just started thinking, you might have been climbing for an hour or something, you're like, whoa, how'd I get here? But you just see Narluf still climbing ahead of you. And you're like, okay, I guess I have nowhere else to go but up. So it's like gaps in time are starting to form for you.
I do want to ask in terms of like how difficult of a climb this is, because like for indoor rock climbing, there's like at a rock climbing gym. A lot of the difficulty is in like having a really strange hold that you can't really grab onto, whereas in rock climbing outside, especially longer distances, most of the difficulty is a strain. Like, are these holds like easy enough to grab onto or like set a foot in, but it's just such a long distance?
So it's more like you're in a very wide place in the mountain. A lot of the cracks here are really deep, a lot of the holes are really big, so there is plenty of room to sort of finagle yourself into, so it's not as strenuous. You're not like grabbing with just your fingers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like
You can put like your forearm or your whole arm in some spaces, you can push yourself up, you know.
It's just a really long distance. That's
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. But as you continue on, at one point your hand reaches up, you push yourself in, and Norluf looks down for a split second and he's like,
Idiot!
As you didn't realize exactly then, but your hand had just shifted ever so slightly down to a smaller section of the stone where the little crack is formed, and that crack becomes much larger, and your hand falls backwards. I need you to make either a strength save or a dex save in this case. Dex save would be to like literally like finagle yourself to the wall, or strength save is like holding on for dear life with your one arm still attached to the wall right now.
Yeah, we'll go for strength.
Okay.
It's a 5.
Yeah, now as you like hold on for dear life in this moment.
Yeah, I might just die here. Let's make a new character or not. Oh, that is a 11.
Okay. In this moment, as your arm reaches back, as you look down the ground, like you're trying not to look down, but your body's just leaning that way, and you feel your weight just pulling yourself back. Your hand just tenses up against the
I
stone.
do want to say, I'm not gonna avoid looking down if my body is going a way that's not exactly falling. I'm not gonna try and like strain my neck to look in a different way because that might make it worse. So I'm just gonna like try to be natural while like clinging onto the wall.
I got you.
So if I happen to look down, I'm not going to avoid it.
No, I got you. Okay. So you're like holding yourself there. You see down, and you realize you don't even see the base you were at now. Like, how long have you been climbing? But in that moment, your hand is tensing up and tensing up. You can feel the strain as your hand squeezes and squeezes. You feel your muscles begin to tear slightly in your hands. You do take some damage from this as you're gripping just purely based on survival. You take, oh my gosh, yeah, no, you take 12 damage. As like, literally your fingers are tearing. Like your skin is
Same
tearing.
amount of hit points I was at before I used second.
Oh my god.
Fortunately, I rolled maximum second win, so I'm still at 12.
This is just a really bad roll for you as the blood is seeping from your hand, as the stone is cutting into your wrist as you're holding yourself there. And as you feel yourself about to slip, Norluf says, "Are you ready to die?" And he's not like helping, he's just looking down at you, yelling this.
I'm gonna put energy to respond, and I'm just gonna try and grab the proper spot.
Okay.
Do not give in to your weakness. Pain is momentarily. Your strength can power through.
As you hear these words, you just naturally want to like not die here, of course, right? You do have a chance here, so please make a strength roll, or you do have this option. I will say again, you can either make a strength roll, and this will be just trying to pull yourself back, or some sort of dex check to try to finagle your body a little bit closer to the wall so your weight goes back towards the wall.
I feel like that'll have a lower DC based on how you phrased that. I do want to think about this for a little bit though, even though I'm about to die.
You're thousands of feet above the ground.
Actually, I'm not about to die. I'll be falling for quite a while.
That's true,
before I
actually.
die.
You have a few turns, actually. Yeah. You can think about it on the way down.
Based on how I was climbing up, did I see, would it have looked like I had a spot where I could have, like if I went a different path that I could have gone, or is it on this?
Is there a spot where you can like land or like you can grab
Not land,
onto?
just like where I am now. Like if I wanted to make an acrobatics check, would the perception from earlier have like let me see that there's just another thing I can grab onto? It's like not in the right.
There was a better handle, probably. Yeah.
There was.
Yeah. I will say you didn't see it before because of the perception roll.
Right.
But there was probably one. The dex check is honestly just to like hold yourself there for a second so you can start climbing again. It's not to like grab the best optimal spot.
Right.
So you either got a strength check or a dex check here.
I'm just trying to see to figure out if you had. Would it be athletics or
In this case,
a save?
in this case, like I would say like your skills for this, like you never trained for rock climbing, and the save part did happen already. Right now, it's like your will. This is your action basically. Like what you're gonna do to not have to make another save and probably die.
You know, we're doing all this about like getting stronger anyway, so we're gonna go for strength.
That's the spirit, Chuck. That's the spirit.
I gotta get a better dice though. This one's been doing pretty well. Alright, that's a 12.
A 12. In this moment, you feel your hands scratching against the wall, you feel your body strain, you feel your muscles tearing, your fingertips getting torn from your hand. The stone is cutting into you. You feel yourself slipping and slipping and slipping. And in this moment, as it feels like you're about to fall, like the stone is about to
Can I
leave your
action
grasp,
surge?
you may.
Alright, just to...
As in this moment, you will probably fall.
Alright, yeah, we'll action surge. Try again. Still strength. just
Your
'cause-
adrenaline kicks in, pumps in, your eyes go wide, you power through. Go ahead. Come on. Come on.
That's a 6.
The adrenaline's pumping, and in this moment, oh shit, the stone cracks, and you begin to fall forward. As you are falling, your footing comes loose. You don't know in this moment exactly what happens, but your entire weight is taking you up this mountain. The stones around you are falling. It's like the horrible sensation of waking up from a dream of falling, you know? That's what's happening right now.
Except I don't wake up.
You do not wake up. Like, you just see the ground beneath you. The fog is beginning to clear, and you see thousands of feet below you the snowy, frosty rock ground in between these two mountains. And you're like, well, shit, right? Or maybe you're screaming in your mind. I don't know how Chuck would react to this, actually. How would Chuck react to about to fall off a cliff?
He's not about to fall off. He's falling.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
It's both a mix of concern of just inevitable death and still partially unknown, although in the D&D world might not be that unknown. But there might be a bit of relief in knowing it's like at least a certainty he won't hurt more people, per se. So it's a lot of, it's too many emotions to process at once, but like there's definitely a hint of maybe relief in there,
Okay.
but also I don't know, just sort of a still want to survive, to see like what could he become if
Absolutely.
he could control that, but it's a lot.
In this moment, as you're going to fall, you hear shouting from Narloof, but you can't hear it. You can't hear exactly what he's saying. In this slow motion, everything's numb, everything's quiet. You're thinking through that. You're like, what can I do? What has happened? Have I done everything I can? Could I have been better? All this other stuff that's happened in your past, you're thinking it's all flying by your mind, and as you're really about to go like perpendicular to this mountain, you know, breath just passes out of you. And it's like you're falling dead, you know. You're cold. There's nothing else to think about. But then, somewhere inside you, somewhere familiar, a chilling core somewhere in your body, deep within your chest. Something that has been there since you first arrived at this place. You were one lucky.
Yeah.
I like, oh my gosh. Okay, 1 second. In this moment, you feel this something well in you. This power of survival, this want to continue, this need to continue, this potential that you have heard, this lost, these other people that took a chance on you, like you were living life the way it should be lived to its fullest, and you want to live more. And you hear in your ears, your heart. You've heard it plenty of times before, but it's not freaking out. Our heart's not racing, it's just a soft beat. But there's something in the echo of your heartbeat in your ear. You hear it again. Something hidden in there, some words hidden in there. You only have a moment to feel this growth deep in your chest. Something happens. Something grows from you. Some power, some energy. Air escapes you once more, but it's not just your breath, it's your fear. and you feel before everything disappears into blackness. Flight. Something taking you higher, not falling. And you black out. Something in you saved you. Perhaps something that you got lucky enough to roll. But in this moment, there's nothing. It's like a dream. It's like a sleep. But as you come to, your eyes open softly. It's blurry. The sun is bright still. The air is so thin. You're lightheaded. But your eyes open. You see a figure, familiar, Narluf, sitting cross-legged near you. You're on a ledge that barely fits the both of you. He's sitting there. He turns his head as you're sort of coming to. You're alive. You're still in the mountain. You're laying flat on your back. Something happened. That's all you know.
Are we on like a natural ledge or is this like
Natural
a platform?
ledge. It's a natural ledge. Yeah, it's barely fitting both of you.
Am I still almost naked?
Yeah, no, you're still in what you were wearing before. Maybe you just shat yourself though. No, probably not. I don't know. I would say you probably had an empty stomach this morning, so maybe
Yeah.
something came out, but it's gone now.
If I had, it would have been when I got struck by lightning.
That's a good point, actually.
Universe.
Oh my gosh, when you were teleporting through the realms, did you shit yourself? did some of it arrive in another realm?
It just was halfway through the teleportation, so it just fell out.
Oh no! Yeah.
Where'd you shoot me? Like an ostrich or something?
Oh no! somewhere in the multiverse.
Mm.
But yeah, you're alive. You just stay quiet, sort of thinking about what just happened.
Can I see Narluth?
Yeah, no, he's
Is he like looking at me or just looking at me?
he's looking towards you right now.
I'll just make a noise. Just make. Just so he is aware I'm vaguely conscious. I'm still not sure that I am, but you know. They all have those days.
Welcome back. You have proven that at least something in you does not want to die. That is admirable, and my curiosity is piqued. But we are not yet to our own peak. I will give you an hour to come to. You have already slept like a slug long enough.
He stands up on this ledge, cracks his neck. You realize now, some frost and snow has formed on you. You've been here a while, actually. You've been out for a while.
Can I tell like what time of day it is at all, or I know I don't keep mine. Just like
Make a
was the
survival
sun there
check.
and everything?
Yeah, make a survival check. Yeah, go ahead.
That's only a 7. I'm just mostly is the sun on the same side of the mountain, so I can.
It's approaching the same side.
Hmm.
It's actually closer to have
You know
started
what?
rising.
I'll ask for game mechanic purposes.
Yeah.
Can I get a long rest?
Yes, actually.
Alright, cool.
You benefit from a long rest here. It seems you have been out for a long time.
Hmm.
But you haven't died of exposure on the side of this mountain or anything. Something happened to you. Maybe Narluth protected you. But you haven't died.
Hmm.
We have to continue. You will drink again.
Oh boy.
He holds out this little, like, you see now, he's wearing the same stuff from before, but he has a new belt down on him. He might have gone all the way back down and came all the way back up.
Shotted film.
Yeah, you see attached to that belt is a water skin. But it's very thick and it's fur covered, and he hands it to you. And it's warm, it's very warm.
Drink.
Yeah. Oh, it's nasty. Oh gosh. Hey, con save.
Yep.
as it's hitting you once again.
25.
25.
Get better at this.
Yeah, once again, you push through it. Okay, it doesn't taste great, but it doesn't. You don't feel nauseous now, and you don't feel cold anymore. Okay, that's good.
Do you know what saved me?
You saved you. Your strength did. Or whatever your strength conjured within you.
I
The elders may know.
cool. I think I'm.
I will no longer call you nothing. You are now something. Congratulations.
Thanks. Teacher.
He stands up.
We may be able to make it before the sun sets. That is our goal.
How long has it been? Roughly.
A night and some time.
Mm.
I was surprised to find that you did not die in the time I was gone. However, I came back and gave you a little more mercy to keep you from dying.
It's about now when you realize you actually have a point of exhaustion.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
You did have a long rest, but it's being out here, out in the open, you were kind of forced into what you believe to be probably a coma. So maybe you had more points of exhaustion than you realized before.
More than one?
Yeah,
How many?
probably 2.
Uh,
And then you like lost one, but then you gained one back.
So I'm at
You're at 1 right now.
Okay.
You're at 1 today.
It's actually very bad since I have to climb.
It is.
Disadvantage and all of that.
Yeah.
Oof.
I want you to channel the strength you showed yesterday, when death was coming for you, when the world was going to leave you behind, when all your strength was nothing. The mountains gawked at you. The stone saw you about to crack like soft, weak rock. Something you must show them that you are stronger than any diamond. The mother of the mountains chose you for these teachings, chose you to inherit the power of the Jotun. Their words have strength. You are meant to take that strength and make it your own. So do not die again.
Alright.
Now stand.
You stand up, the frost on your body melts away. You realize it's been melting actually since you drank that stuff. Your body is like extremely hot or something. But as you sit up, shake yourself off again. It's time to begin.
Now, I want you to do as you do, not as I do.
Alright.
You lead the way.
How would you like to try to climb up this mountain?
I'm curious if I can actually try something.
You can argue something.
It's a racial ability, so I can dash as a bonus action.
Yeah.
Can I dash while climbing?
Oh, for a short burst, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess for now I'll just go purely on. I'm not gonna look for like the easiest spots to grab onto because those also might be looser. I'm gonna look for the most secure spots, even if they're hard to grab, like a smaller crimp or something.
Yeah.
I'll do those because those are generally more secure, I
Mhm.
think. I'll grab for the rocks that look more stable, even if they need more strength, and just brute force it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Not just rocks, all of it, crack climbing, whatever. But
Would you believe this would be like a strength roll, an athletics roll? What are you trying to argue for, you think? But what is Chuck trying to use to climb this mountain is what I'm saying.
he's basically just trying to brute force it. And it would mostly be strength. Like, there's sort of a bit of survival in there just because he's looking for more stable holds, but it's mostly looking for... The more difficult part of it is grabbing onto the holds that are more stable because they might not be as good. So it'd be grip strength or athletics maybe.
Okay.
If I could do this with only saving throws, that'd be great because I don't have disadvantage on those right now.
A saving throw will come when an accident's about to occur. So,
Alright.
but this will be a strength check. So go ahead and roll strength for me.
Just strength or athletics? Or?
Do you want to roll athletics? Is what I'm asking.
It's
You
better.
say you're brute forcing it, right? With athletics, you're like definitely taking your time to find the best sort of place to push and pull. You know, right?
I'd like to use my athletics. 'Cause it's-
You can.
Just because that's.
Yeah.
It is, yeah, alright, cool.
No, go ahead. You got it. No matter what you choose, it's a different DC.
Right.
But in this case, it's however Chuck wants to do it. So go ahead. Yeah, roll.
How would. Based on what I described before, what do you think that would be? Like.
So you both said you're brute forcing it, but also looking for the best handles because you're
Not
like
the
cautious.
best handle. The best handles would be like something
Yeah.
like that. I'm looking
Yeah.
for the ones that are most secure. So even if it's just like.
Yeah. It would probably be survival in that case if you're looking for the most secure ones. Because you want to both make sure you're using your strength, but at the same time putting that where it can hold you.
Okay. So survival?
Yeah.
Alright. I think it's not a good option.
Are you like proficient in like nature?
No.
Then yeah, it would be survival for you.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not like you're proficient in investigation either, right?
No.
Yeah.
Only persuasion, intimidation, insight, and athletics.
I'm sorry, you can't intimidate the mountain.
Can I insight check the mother of the mountains to see
No.
if she's
No. I'll tell you what.
This seems like a mistake, but I don't.
No, it's okay. I'll tell you what. Just roll strength for me. Just make a strength check.
Okay.
It would be like sort of between your survival and your athletics.
Right.
In this case, you're using your strength, but you're trying to be cautious enough where.
I'm not taking the holds that look easiest. I guess is a weird way to put it.
No, here, I'll tell you what. Since you're experienced, actually, since you just went through all this stuff, I'll say you can use your athletics.
Okay.
You went through all this before. Now you're trying it again. You've learned something. You actually do feel stronger in this case. Maybe you actually become stronger. So yeah, go ahead and roll athletics.
Okay. Still a disadvantage.
Yeah.
We'll see. That's a 10.
Okay. As you're going up, it's slowed, but it's not dangerous yet. But you're moving forward. That drink, it makes your mind fuzzy, but it's not like your body doesn't know what to do. In a way, it's like separating your mind momentarily from your muscles, your instincts. It's like your instincts take over in this moment. The best places are the best way your body feels coming up. Your mind gets fuzzy, time flies by, but you are making your pace, it's just slowed. But like I said, every once in a while you come back to reality realizing time has passed, but you haven't fallen. Your muscles feel tight. They're aching, but you're not done. You look down, Arluth is still behind you waiting for you to move forward. Doesn't look tired or exhausted, he could be, just not be showing it. But you feel it. You do feel it. But you gotta keep on going. And there are times where you and Arluth are like side by side, you know, where he goes alongside you and he watches you go up, you know, and there's some times where like he takes the lead for a second, and there's other times where he's like diagonal beneath you, you know, but he just keeps on going, following you, making sure you're going up, and never commenting, just watching. On the second half, though, I would like you to please roll again.
Same roll?
Same roll. As you're constantly looking for the next grip.
14.
14. This next space does become much more difficult as you get higher and higher up. Frost on the rock has grown, it's so cold up here, even the sunlight isn't melting this frost really. It gets slippery, you have to grip hard, you have to crunch into this ice to dig your fingers into it. Now you actually have to use your fingers to grab onto some of these grips. And at one point, you do begin to slip, and you feel yourself slipping off this one grip, and you try to reach for another grip, and you feel yourself slipping off that grip, and it's going to happen again, You need to grab something, you need to do something. You need to make a strength save or a dex save right now.
Disadvantage. Yeah, we'll go with strength.
As once again you feel yourself about to slip and fall. Go for it.
Natural 20.
In this moment, as you're about to slip, as you feel yourself about to fall, you don't want to feel that feeling again. You don't want to lose all this progress. You don't want it to mean for nothing. You push your hands into the stone. You literally hear the stone crack. The mountain, like, shakes to your might. You crack through the ice. Your hands squeeze. You feel your muscles tense. You see the lines, the outlines of your grip. Like, yeah, Chuck's a pretty heavy guy. He's got all the weight he needs to stay warm in the winter, you know. But, like, that muscle mass is just comparatively as big. And in this moment, like, your forearms, your arms, like, all the muscles show as grips, the intensity, the impact. You're firing on all cylinders, your adrenaline's pumping, and you hear your heartbeat. Once again, that drum, that internal drum of war inside you. You continue on. I would like you to make another roll, but you do have to use your action surge to do this.
Okay.
As you pick yourself back up, you will continue on. You don't take any damage from having to grip with an natural 20.
Okay. Is this... What's the action surge part of this?
So it's like to keep your pace, to start again, you know. Basically, you failed that you made the save, but now you need to, like, actually push your body to continue on.
Could I use Adrenaline Rush instead, which is my bonus action dash ability?
Yes.
Okay, I will do that, because I have 2 of those.
So, like, your body's straining, it's screaming at you. You just saved yourself, yes, but it's screaming at you. But in this moment, you're pushing through it. Okay? And as you push through it, you take some breaths, your hearing is quiet, all you hear is your heartbeat. You enter this trance-like state once more, this drink in you, this bubbling fury in you. You push forward, and you swear you hear something behind you. You swear you hear Narlu saying something in the wind. But as you look back, you don't see him say anything. Doesn't matter. You enter this trance once more, and you continue. Make one more roll for me, please.
Athletics still?
Yeah.
Alright.
As you're coming up, you see the sun has passed. Every time you look back at it, it seems like it's traveled miles across the sky.
That is a 9.
As you're coming forward, you look back once more out of this trance. You look back at the sun. It seems like it's closing to the mountains. The sky is turning orange. You hear this whispering in your ear, this strange whispering. You feel your strength. You feel your muscles screaming at you to stop. Please stop. In this moment, what is Chuck thinking? You exit this trance. Your body is screaming, but what is crossing your mind?
Probably just the birds reach the top. I've come this far. May as well see it through.
Okay.
Don't let something as weak and pitiful as gravity stop me.
Yeah. In this moment, as you think that, you don't even realize it until you open your eyes again, that your lips are moving, but not saying the words you're thinking, saying something that you think you heard Narluth say before. Something in giant you don't understand completely, but you hear it. And you feel this pain on you, this searing pain, as if something's being pressed into you like a hot coal, and you swear on your wrist for a second. You see a symbol, but you blink and it's gone. But you feel this strength in you, your hands grip, your muscles tense, but they scream with fury now, with adrenaline, with might. You invoke the power deep within you. Your sturdiness is beyond belief. You grab for another ledge. You can roll again now. Please add a +2 to this next roll, though. It's still an athletics check, but add another +2 to it.
Okay, that's a 12.
As you're pushing through this, you feel like you're not gonna make it. But this adrenaline's pushing through you. It's taking more time. The sun's beginning to set. You can hear Narluth behind you. It's too slow, too weak, too small. An ant beneath the boots. An ant beneath the boots of the Jotun. You hear him. You can't tell if he's in your head, if he's around you. You're small, you're weak. Chuck, you don't know if you can do it. The sun has set. You're climbing in darkness now. You're striving to reach the top of this mountain, It seems like it's forever. Your breath is so light, so thin. The air in your lungs, it's so hard to breathe. You feel that drink from before you, that energy, that heat in you, it's leaving your body. What does Chuck think as he hears these words in his head, as he hears this taunting, as he feels the insignificance? What is he thinking? Is he giving in to it? What does he think to push himself forward?
Probably something along the lines of, I'll die if my body gives out. So it will, if I'm supposed to die, then my body will give out. So I may as well keep going while it's can. Trust my own strength, I guess. 'Cause if I haven't fallen yet a second time.
In this trance-like moment, as you're like realizing this, all this vision's coming to your mind, as these words are screaming in your head, you think that, you say it, and you literally say it out loud, you think you just said that out loud, and you hear Narlu's voice, "Show me." And in that moment, your hand slips off the rock once more, your other foot slips off the rock. These handholds are so thin, they're so frost-covered, it's so dangerous up here. You need to make another save for me. You do add a +2 to this.
Strength save?
Strength save. But he said show him.
+2, that's a 15.
Just what you need in this moment. As you're holding onto the cliff, as you're holding yourself, you look down and you see Narlu looking up to you, his eyes almost reflecting in the moonlight. He's looking up towards you and he's mouthing something. You think he's mouthing weak. But you're right. If you stop now, you're dying. You'll be dead. Everything will be for nothing. You'll be forgotten. You'll be literally dust in the wind. But you believe you can do something more. Chuck, you believe you could probably do something meaningful, right? If you give him the chance, one day you might even make up for things that you've done before. Or, better yet, you might just not be remembered for the worst things you've done in your life, but actually the best things you will do. Don't you think?
Yeah.
You take your chance, knowing that if you continue, you will do something good, hopefully, or at least something that's better than what you've done in the past. You grit your teeth, you hold on, your hands scream, two of your fingers seem to twist unnaturally against the stone as your hand's twisting like this, trying to grip onto the rock, and you think you're breaking your fingers, or at least two of them, but you're not letting go. It's pretty bad this time. Thank goodness for that rest, though.
And the 2 temporary hit points I got from
Yeah.
the adrenaline rush.
You take 21 damage as two of your fingers break on the stone, but 3 fingers hold as you dig into the rock, the ice, tearing your nails from your fingers. You scream in your mind, but you scream with fury, with might, not willing to let this be the end of your story. You climb. Something within you, not just Narlu's voice, no longer taunting you, telling you, go, climb, go, climb. Deep within you, something else, something new in you. You're not meant to die here. You are meant to do what you need to do. Your power will know no bounds, and you will wield it. It will not wield you. For your strength will be your own. Chuck will not be a wild beast, victim to his instincts, to his whims. Chuck will be a master of his might. Won't he? Yeah. Your hand touches the top of a flat piece of land. You're in a cloud sea. You come out of this trance and you realize there's cloud all around you. It's cold. The moisture is biting at your skin. And then you and push yourself up. And you're above the clouds. You're at the very top of what you believe to be this mountain. So you pull yourself up. You lay flat in the stone, taking deep breaths, I assume. You see your breath blow out into the cold, cold, dark air. You see the starscape above you, the stars looking down upon you, Chuck, greeting you with the heavens peak. Flat on this base of this mountain. Just a few areas on this peak that stick up, but you're more or less in a flat space. It kind of like raises like a spoon, you know, at the very front of the spoon, and then it raises up to its truest, highest form at like a ramp. But that's only like maybe like 5 feet up. But as you breathe, you look up, you see the stars above you. You see the moon. It's blue, it's cloudy, it's smooth. Its blue light glistens upon you. The night sky is full of stars. You see 2 stars twinkle with their beautiful, brilliant colors. You see a star shoot past. Do you look around?
Yeah.
You stand up, catching your breath. Make a con save as you try to catch your breath. Looking around, your knees are shaking, your limbs are aching. 10. Your body is so weak here, but you're looking around. You're breathing fast, but you're catching your breath slowly. But at 10, you feel like you're about to black out, but you catch yourself. You catch yourself. And this hand, this warm hand, grabs you on your shoulder. It's Narloof. What is your name?
Chuck.
Welcome to heavens, Chuck. As he stands up and it helps prop you up. He stands there with you, steps away from you for a second for you to take it all in. And this cloud that was blocking the peak and blocking the view, suddenly wind picks up, blows by. You see before you the heavens. The horizon is nothing but stars. You are so high up you can't believe you are breathing right now. Whatever you have in your system has enabled you to breathe up here. But maybe not just that, maybe something you've conjured, maybe the power that's a part of you, maybe that sturdiness you feel in you right now. Something that you've learned here, a word that was whispered to you before, other words that were whispered to you before. In that trance-like state you had before, climbing up the mountain, you're starting to remember things. You said words that you are only now remembering. You painted on yourself at different points up the mountain symbols that you don't know, but painted with your own blood, and they dried and cracked from the cold air. But you remember using them now, vaguely. But as you look around, you see the stars, you see on the horizon the sunlight barely cracking. You see in the far distance the infinite abyss of the night. You see the mountainscapes around you. It's very clear up here. It's spooky and ethereal. You see in the very far distance rolling clouds of storm above mountain peaks. You see deep below into valleys. You even swear you see an ocean further off. You are in the mountains, but on top of the mountains. You look down. You're pretty close to this one area where the mountains just stop into a great valley. You swear you see lights at the very bottom. But it's hard to tell. You're at the highest peak in this area. There are other mountains around this one that stand low. Narloof raises his hands. Speak as me, Chuck. Don Trell.
Don Trell.
As you speak, your voice, Don Trell, Don Trell, Don Trell, echoes out into the wind, echoes out into the abyss of the sky, the infinite space, the night. Only the stars and the moon to witness you. But then you realize there's others in the audience as well. The mountains that surround this peak you're on, they hear you. As you see, you can't tell if you're having a vision, but you see something rise from these mountains. You see strange shapes, light, strange light. You've never seen this light before, but you've heard stories of it. This blue, this green, this dancing color rises from these mountains in bands and shapes. You see humanoid shapes rise from the peaks around this mountain peak you're on. These humanoid shapes are large humanoids. Bands, made of bands of green and blue energy. This aurora borealis sort of like ghost-like figure. These figures rise out of these mountains. Yeah. You see 6 mountain peaks. 6 figures. Ghostly figures. Some are larger than the rest, and some are small. But these figures are vague. But you can tell they're humanoid.
When you say small, do you mean like...
Like proportionally small to each other. I mean, they're still the size of mountains.
Right.
They just like sort of come out of these mountains, these ghosts made of the aurora borealis,
Right.
you know. But some of them are smaller, some of them are taller. They sort of match the peaks they come out of. He speaks to you, Narluf. I told you before, these mountains are reliquaries. That is true of all the mountains. Know this. We walk upon the tombs of titans, of those who came before us. The mountains themselves are the tombs of the Jotun, their spirits long sundered by the gods out of fear, envy, jealousy, whatever it was, a selfish reason. They feared their first children. The Jotuns were first. Their steps carved the valleys. Their hands made the rivers. Their works of construction made the lakes. Many do not believe it, but I do. I know they made the first buildings, the first castles, the first keeps, and everything else is nothing but an horrible impression of what their masterpieces were. And here we are joined by 6 of the ancestors, atop one of the only living dead emissaries. And you see from the mountain you stand upon this figure, matching vaguely the figure that you saw before, but not the husk you saw of the emissary, of the archangel you saw before. No, this Grolneel is massive, hulked out. He has both his arms, both his hands, but he also has all 5 of these gauntlets floating around him in this ghostly apparition. He hovers above this mountain, large, just his torso up, leans back, and his hands rest on the side of the peak, looking down upon you both. We stand and crawl in the peering view of these giants, and they have seen you, Chuck. They have seen you. Call upon their names. The Jotun might decorate your body with their power. They have seen you survive the fall, the plummet. They have seen you crawl and peel the skin off your fingers to reach the summit. And they greet you with strength. Above all else, Chuck, you don't want your strength to master you. You want to master your strength, correct?
Yes.
They have seen it. Their mother has seen it. Beyond the stars, she sees you now. The mother of mountains, the giant, queen herself, Jorkida, she sees you. She hears you. She gives you your control. You will find your control of your power. As it grows, as it whelms within you with a great spring, you will not let it take control. You will not let your worst instincts take you again. You will not let your hand act without your mind. Your instincts
will be at your whim. I tested you as you climbed. You still rely upon your instincts in some cases, it seems. That is the way of the animal. You must pass beyond your instincts. That will be your greatest challenge in life. Your muscles will scream at you to do something. You must not do what they say. You must not let go. Never let go, Chuck. Because if you let go, you will fall. And everyone around you will fall as well. Your familial bonds will not be your chains. He looks up towards Grolneel's apparition. The Archangel looks upon you. These wings form from the aurora around him. They reach up to the heavens themselves. They interconnect to the other giants, ghosts of the mountains around you. These wings are tethers, not just ways of flight, but they are bounded ribbons of energy that pass to all things, all mountains, all spirits. Grolneel looks towards you. It says, he says with such great strength, your chest quakes and rumbles with the power of the giant speak. This Yoktin language he speaks towards you. It has power, and it makes you frightful. What comes next, but you understand it to be. You will now take, and you will learn, until you are at your peak. And this ghostly aura hand passes down, quick motion onto you, grabs you, consumes you with this green energy. It glows and reflects across your body. You feel this power, this strange power pass into you. You feel this knowledge, this understanding, this new self. Yes, you still rely on your instincts, but they have given you the knowledge to become the master of your instincts. And you, as you grow, will only wield it better. In this moment, Chuck, as the hand retracts from you, you feel your body get stronger. You feel yourself change. Feel something strange within you, something growing now, something very different. The ghosts around you all look towards you and they raise one hand. These massive Aurora Borealis ghosts, these 6 giants, raise one hand each, and you see upon the palm, or these different runes appear on the palm, glowing brightly with this green and blue energy. And you see these giant runes appear upon the palm of their hand. And you look upon your own hand. One by one, they appear. And they slide down your wrist, up to your body. Or they appear, slide down your body, pass onto your form. Like new tattoos, these runes wrap. These 6 runes appear, 3 on each arm. So like, wrapping in a band, 1, 2, and 3. The understanding passes into you. You will have to learn how to master these, and some of these are too great for you right now. But these giants, these Jotun, have given you the power you need. These predecessors, these progenitors to the giants of today, they see your strength, and they're willing to help you. And in that moment, as the energy passes to you, as these runes appear upon your body, as you look over them, you look back, all the spirits disappear, passing back into the mountains that they came from. And the massive archangel spirit there before you whelms up, raises their head up high, and all this green energy passes into the sky like a beacon into the heavens. And you swear somewhere up there, you see these glowing eyes in the stars, hidden beyond the stars themselves, flicker, seeing you. And the spirit before you of the archangel disappears. Those eyes gone, and you're just left in the open expanse of the sky, the mountain, with your teacher. You are Chuck. Perhaps one day you'll be Chuck the Mighty, Chuck the Strong. Depends what people call you. Depends if you use your power to be a tyrant or a hero. There is in between. But it is for you to decide. But if you are to ever fail and your strength overcomes you, they will not help you. I will not help you. Your training is not done.
But he looks down the mountain to those lights you think you saw earlier in the valley. He looks further and further down.
There are those who still need you, it seems. I hear the voice of the emissary now, channeling to me.
And you hear something too in the wind. You understand it now, clearly. The giant tongue is not unfamiliar to you anymore. Go. Test your power. Be with your allies and be strong. Your teacher looks towards you. I will accompany you because I will take you from them once more, and maybe once again, until I know for certain your strength will not consume you.
Alright.
He holds out his hand towards you.
Reach with the left hand that doesn't have two broken fingers.
Yeah. He grips your hand and he squeezes your hand tight. Do you squeeze his hand tight?
Yeah.
Make a strength check. As the strongest handshake in the world is about to happen.
I'm still at disadvantage for these.
You do have a +2 still, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll say you still do.
Look at this. I want to one of the cameras.
Dude! No, we'll take a picture of that right now.
Alright.
We'll take a picture of that right now. Oh my gosh. Focus, please. Focus. Oh, wow. Okay.
This really will be the strongest handshake.
That is this. Yeah, no, this is straight up 2 natural 20s. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow, that's crazy.
Disadvantage, still got Matt 20.
Oh,
Alright.
crazy.
28 for.
Yeah. But yeah, you clasp hands, you shake, you squeeze, and in that moment, you feel like he gives ever so slightly. And he tilts his head towards you, and you swear for the first time you see him kind of smirk. Let us go. And he drags you off the mountain edge. Come with me. He's going to try to drag you. You can make a dex save, or you can come with him. You can trust him.
Go.
Yeah, he drags you, he takes you, and he keeps on running, and before you know it, he leaps off the edge. Do you fall with him?
Yeah.
You fall.
You see something around his neck before. You see what you didn't realize before was just some sort of like ribbon. No, it's like a necklace. It's like a very small like pendant attached to a very thin string that you now see. Maybe it was hidden on his chest area, you're not sure. But it appears and glows ever so slightly, and the wind seems to take you suddenly, and you're like, oh shit. As you begin to fall slowly down the mountain. As you feather fall all the way down back to his home, where you are once again able to put on your clothes, your armor. You're able to get ready, as you will soon be heading from this mountain to join your friends. Probably when the sun rises. Hopefully he'll let you sleep. Who knows? He's been kind of a hard ass, hasn't he?
Oh, but I take it you
Just to say it from before, when you roll that D20 on the chart with the refined faucet, when it exploded, you activated its magical disruption, and you got to roll on the major magical disruption chart, which is not exactly chaos magic, but it is like it affects magic around you in the area. And all creatures sort of have a little bit of magic in them, flowing through them constantly. What you rolled, I will tell you, has ignited a potential in you. It could have been lingering, could have been non-existent. But something in you that was sleeping, some sort of arcane power, has awoken. And it is fostering, and it has fostered some sort of power in you, and it is growing But you don't know exactly what it is yet. But it's probably what saved you when you were about to fall. That's where we'll end our session for today. But we'll see, whenever you join with the party, what exactly you get up to. As Narluth is going to help you get down from the mountain, and is going to accompany you, basically being your chaperone, I suppose. As it doesn't seem like your training's done just yet. We'll catch you in the next stream.
Thank you.